Here's a question for you. If your cyber insurance renewal landed on your desk today, would you feel completely confident in answering every single question on it? There's one question that's catching some business owners off guard. Do you maintain immutable backups? It sounds technical, but your answer could impact both your insurance coverage and your ability to recover from a cyber incident. Today, I'm going to be explaining what that question really means, why insurance companies are asking it, and the three questions you should ask your current IT provider before you check that box. Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Kinnett. I'm CEO and founder of Eternal Networks. And here at Eternal Networks, we believe in empowering businesses and individuals with the knowledge that they need to succeed. So every Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I go live on all of our socials to discuss different topics around technology and cybersecurity to help empower others. At Eternal Networks, we are dedicated to creating safe and secure environments for businesses and people to really thrive in doing what they love. And we believe that helping to educate others on technology and cybersecurity is a key part of that mission. At the end of the live stream, I'll be answering questions from the audience. So if you've got any, throw them in the comments at any time and it'll pop up and I'll cover those at the end. All right, all the introductions aside, let's get on to today's topic. If you've renewed your cyber insurance recently, you've probably noticed questions about immutable backups. A few years ago, this wasn't as common. Today, it's becoming a standard part of the application. And the reason is simple. Ransomware attacks have evolved. Attackers don't just encrypt your files anymore. They often spend days or even weeks inside a network looking for backup systems first. If they can delete your backups before launching the attack, they've eliminated your fastest path to recovery without paying them. And that's exactly why insurance companies have become much more focused on this question. They want to know that if the worst happens, your business has a reliable way to recover without being forced to pay the ransom. So let's talk about what is an immutable backup. Let's start off by simplifying the terminology because immutable isn't really a word that most people use every day. An immutable backup is a backup that cannot be changed or deleted for a predetermined period of time. Not by you, not by your IT provider, and not even by someone using stolen administrator credentials. And that's the key difference. Traditional backups rely on permissions. If someone gains enough administrative access, they can often delete those backups. Immutable backups work very differently. The storage platform itself enforces the protection, meaning the backup remains locked until that retention period expires. That's the level of protection cyber insurance companies are looking for. One of the biggest misconceptions that I see is that businesses assume that any backup automatically satisfies that insurance requirement. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. To help explain that, there's three common examples I can share here that typically would not qualify as immutable on their own. A NAS device, which is NAS stands for network attached storage, or a network attached storage device, or an external hard drive. These devices absolutely can have value as part of your overall backup strategy. However, if they're connected to your network, ransomware can often reach them too. An attacker with administrator access might be able to delete those backups before encrypting your systems. Microsoft also has some built-in retention features in Microsoft 365. There's also some options on Windows computers to do this as well. And many organizations believe that Microsoft's native retention policies count as a backup. They don't. Retention and backups serve very different purposes. Under Microsoft's shared responsibility model, protecting your business data remains your responsibility. And the third option here, or the third example, is a cloud backup. You know, that's very popular, but it has immutability turned off. And this is probably the most common issue. Many modern backup platforms already support immutable storage, but the feature isn't always enabled by default. So you might have the capability today without actually using it. And the takeaway here is simple, right? Don't just assume, verify. Here's three questions that you can take to ask your current IT provider before you answer yes on that cyber insurance application question. First, are your backups immutable? And how long is the immutability window? Most insurance carriers are looking for at least a 14-day retention period, while 30 days is becoming the preferred minimum. I would say if you can, right, the longer is better, because if these threat actors are going to sit on your network, if they can determine that it's 14 days, they might sit on your network for 14 days, right? Then delete the data and do some things. So the longer is definitely better here. All right, here's the second question. If your Microsoft 365 Global Administrator account or your Domain Administrator account were compromised, could those credentials be used to delete the backups? The answer should be no. If the answer is yes, or if your provider isn't sure, it's definitely worth investigating before you renew your policy. And the third question is ask them to provide documentation or a screenshot showing that immutability is enabled. A good provider should be able to show you exactly how your backups are configured instead of simply telling you that don't worry about it, you're protected. These are straightforward questions, and the questions can give you a much clearer picture of your current level of protection. All right, I'm going to pivot here a little bit, and I want to talk a little bit about what does a qualifying backup strategy look like. Meeting the insurance requirements isn't about purchasing a specific brand of backup software. It's about making sure that the solution you have is configured correctly. A strong backup strategy includes immutability enabled, not just available as a feature, but actually turned on and configured. It should include separate backup credentials that aren't tied to your everyday administrator accounts. And it should have a retention period that's long enough to recover from attacks that may have been sitting unnoticed in your environment. And finally, it should include regular restore testing so that you know your backups actually work when you need them. And that last point is incredibly important. A backup that's never been tested is really just an assumption. Periodically restoring data gives you confidence that your recovery plan will work when it matters most. If you've listened to everything that I've gone over today and realized that your backups might not meet these requirements yet, don't panic. The important thing is to answer your insurance application honestly. Checking yes simply to avoid a premium increase can create much bigger problems later if you have to file a claim and can't prove that you met those requirements. Instead, use your renewal as an opportunity to improve your business strategy for backup. And in many cases, immutable storage is already available within your existing backup platform. It just needs to be configured correctly. Remember, the goal here isn't to just satisfy an insurance requirement. The goal is protecting your business and knowing that if you're ever targeted by ransomware, you'll have a reliable, tested way to recover without having to start from scratch. One of the biggest takeaways from today's discussion is that assumptions can be expensive and they can be dangerous. Just because you have backups doesn't necessarily mean that they meet today's security standards or that they're functioning properly. And they may not meet your cyber insurance requirements. If you're not sure how your backups are configured, now's a great time to have a conversation with your IT provider and find out. Whether you're working with an internal IT team or an outside provider, just ask the right questions today. That's much easier than having to deal with the consequences after an attack. Even a quick review can uncover potential gaps that are relatively simple to fix. All right, I'm going to post a link here on the screen as well. If you have any questions or want to discuss this, you can schedule a one-on-one conversation with me. I truly enjoy talking tech and strategy with other business leaders and helping to answer any questions that they might have. All right, let's see if there's any questions from the live audience here. I don't see any questions currently. So if you do have any questions, like I said, post them in the comments to chat at any time, and I'll definitely respond. Thanks for joining us and taking the time out of your day to watch this. If you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment letting us know your thoughts or any questions that you might have. Your feedback is very helpful to us to know that we're creating the right content that's valuable to you. And don't forget, you can subscribe to our channels. Hit that bell icon or notification icon so that you don't miss any future updates from us. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to help you to navigate the world of technology and cybersecurity. If you need any further assistance, feel free to reach out to me via DM on any of our socials, or you can find all of our contact information on our website at itnet.works. I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July weekend, and we'll see you next week.